Hey everybody, how's it going, Crystal? How's it going, KT Gremlin Teeth? How's it going, Austin Clara? What's up, everybody? We are going to learn about bird calls today. What do you guys think of that? I have to actually buy the course. You're excited to learn. Wonderful to hear that. Oh my god. How's it going? Sounds tweet, says Erebus53. Amazing. What's up, Mio Dury? What's up, Shadow Soup M? You've waited all week for this, Chris, to the Octoling. That's awesome. All right. Man, we haven't even gotten that far in Joy of Bird Watching yet. We'll hear it. You missed it last week. Yeah, we didn't do it last week because of the holiday. Um, how was everybody's Thanksgiving week? I'm eager to know that too. Oh, them holidays. Do birds talk and say, let's go human watching? I think they do. I think some birds like to watch humans. Hello, New Navy CB. It feels so good to have cold weather and be wearing a sweatshirt, doesn't it? Now, why when I go like this does my fucking terrible Logitech camera switch brightnesses? I have above me right now, I've got right here a wonderful SLR camera, but I do not yet have the right cable I need to connect it. So I'm waiting for that cable to arrive. This is a neon green sweatshirt. You played 30 hours of Splatoon over break. Congratulations. Stressful and busy holiday for you, Heepo Sheep. And then after we do a little bird calling, maybe we'll play a little video games if you guys want. When did I do my nails? I did these last night while watching the movie JFK with Lisa. I actually really like this color. What do you guys think? Ooh, yeah, that doesn't that look nice? I really like that color. Does it go with my shirt or does it clash? I'm still learning how to do the color combinations. You like the color? Oh, good. Mio Dury says fantastic. Oh, and with a sweatshirt, you guys like? This is like a gesture that women I grew up with would do. Like, oh my god, oh my god. On Long Island, they go like this. They have nails that go like this. Hello, like that. But they got low voices. They're down here. Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. I'm Deborah. Like that. Hey, hey, how you doing? Hey, how are the kids? The kids good? Good, 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 good. I have good hands. Thank you. Oh, that's very nice of you to say. I'm a hand model. Ah, yes. Like this. I do like them. I do like the color. Oh my god, it's me. Put the hand in a glass jar a la Zoolander. You know, I chew my nails, but I do it very carefully. I don't like do it obsessively. I like do like I perfectly sort of do my nails. This sweatshirt does feel nice. I think I got to wear more sweatshirts in my life. These are not tortoise glasses. These are just gray glasses. These are Persols. Gotta clean them off a little bit here. Take this off right now. We don't need that. Sweatshirts are important. They are indeed. All right. Well, should we start learning about birds here? All right, so here are my courses on Bird Academy here. Now, what did we have not done on Joy of Bird Watching? Oh, there are a bunch that we haven't done yet in this. I thought we had done like all of them. Should we do this and learn about bird watching through the seasons, or should we do bird calls first? Let's do bird watching through the seasons first.
In most places, the birds you see depend almost as much on when you're birding as where you're birding. I look forward to the spring migration of warblers through New York State each spring, and then within a matter of weeks, many of them are gone again. When fall comes, those northern breeding birds appear briefly and then disappear, migrating someplace to the south. Bird migration is a spectacular phenomenon that's fascinated people for millennia. Some birds gather in massive flocks to migrate. Large groups of waterfowl or cranes on migration can be awe-inspiring. Other birds migrate alone. Some birds fly from the Arctic to the tips of the southern continents, and others go just a few hundred miles. Did you know that many, perhaps most birds migrate at night? The only way you know is you can hear small chips and seeps overhead in the darkness. And then all the birds are gone the next morning. Equally fascinating is why some birds travel back and forth from the ends of the earth each year, and what makes that strategy better than just a day's flight. To understand migration is to understand what behaviors the birds are focused on at different times of year. In spring and summer, many migratory birds are focused on pairing up and raising their chicks. And in the winter, they're focused instead on overwintering in regions with available food. Some birds leave their breeding grounds as soon as they can, departing quickly if a first breeding attempt fails. Others make many attempts and only leave when they're forced to by bad weather. And some birds don't migrate at all. What's different about them? How can a black-capped chickadee spend a winter in Canada, while a yellow-bellied flycatcher breeding in the same forest has to go to Central America to spend the winter?
That's a very good question. I was
Dig
wondering
into
about
this
that.
lesson to discover the wonders of migration and learn how to predict what you'll see in your region as the seasons change.
Okay, great. I do want to learn about this. So it looks like I didn't need to buy that bird call thing yet. But okay, let's do the next topic. A year in the life of a bird. Breed, molt to migrate. A year in the life of a bird is composed of just a few. Let's enlarge this a little bit for you guys. A year in the life of a bird is composed of just a few predictable events. That's too big. There. Breeding, changing feathers, surviving the non-breeding season, and then for some migration. Each of these stages, birds are trying to do the same thing: stay alive. Oh, I should post. I got a Discord I want to post about this in. Baby birds grow quickly, so it takes a lot of protein, usually in the form of insects, to feed them. Growing feathers requires protein too, but also someplace safe to be, while flight is impaired by gaps in the wings while feathers grow. Surviving as an adult might mean different food than needed by growing young. These kind of differences can drive different behaviors, and sometimes it can even mean going to a different place to fulfill those needs. That's called migration. Try to think about what it must be like as a bird to go through these stages. What would be different about your behavior? How might this affect your bird watching? Let's dive into each of the stages to consider what birds do. Breeding season. Most birds... Oh, look at that little baby. Yeah, I got a Discord down below. You can join the Discord, Crystal the Octoling. Crystal the Octoling, and you can hang out with us there. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Nathan, for posting below. Most birds breed only during part of the year. In temperate climates, birds usually breed in the warmer spring and summer months when insect food is plentiful. Many tropical environments also have seasons such as dry and rainy seasons that can affect the breeding of birds. In very arid environments such as deserts, periodic rains can trigger the flowering of plants, the hatch of insects, and the breeding of birds. Many tropical environments also have seasons such as dry and rainy seasons. That's an interesting thing about LA that I learned recently is that we don't really have a spring, summer, fall, and winter. We have a dry season and a rainy season. I thought that was really cool. Let me adjust. This is a little bit too cropped, I think. I think we can, oops. Give myself a little bit more space there. And then shrink it down a tad. I think that's a little nicer, don't you? Don't you think that's a little nicer? All right. Birds sing to attract mates and establish breeding territories. Lots of birds in their brightest plumage early in the breeding season. At this time of year, they're at their most conspicuous. Many birds stop singing when they are feeding young, so you can expect birds to be harder to find as the breeding season progresses. Feeding-dependent young is the most energy-intensive period in a bird's year. Baby birds grow quickly. They need lots of food. Makes sense. Young songbirds can reach full adult size in just a matter of a few weeks. Wow, that's fast. Some birds, like ducks and chickens, find their own food as soon as they're hatched. Their parents don't have to feed them, but they still have to show them good places to find food and guard them while they eat. Oh, look at that. Because they wear out from use, most bird species replace their feathers each year. Feathers aren't a living part of the bird's body, a bit like our nails and hair. But unlike these parts of our body, feathers don't grow continuously. Individual feathers are grown, used, and then discarded when a new feather grows in. Shedding and replacing feathers is a process called molt. Most birds molt at specific times of the year, replacing most or all of their feathers within a relatively short period. Birds still need to fly during molt, so they lose their flight feathers only a few at a time. You can see molting birds with gaps in their wings, but at least they can still fly. Birds in molt often become quiet and even hide. If you're looking for birds while they're molting, they're going to be harder to find. This, by the way, the reason I'm doing all of this is that I have started bird watching. It's my new hobby, and these classes are really helpful in doing it. Swallows are wonderful. I saw some swallows earlier this week. I went to the Sepulveda Basin Dam with Lisa and did some bird watching, and I saw all these birds swooping around I had never seen before. And by using my app well enough and really identifying, I was able to figure out that they were, I think they were called rough-winged swallows. Let's see. Yes, these guys. Northern rough-winged swallow. I really do think that was them. Small migratory swallow. Would make sense because I was right here. Right around there. Okay. When a male mallard drops all his flight feathers, he replaces his gaudy breeding plumage for more camouflage brown feathers, making him look more like a female. This is known as eclipse plumage. His all greenish yellow bill still distinguishes him from a female. I didn't know this. I didn't know that male mallards could look like that. Did you guys know that? Birdwatching is a very wholesome hobby. Kiwi says, I didn't know you could still find swallows this time of year down there. They're all gone further up the coast. Yeah, I mean, they were there. Do I do photography when I birdwatch? No. I understand why people do, because it's like fun to like, you know, that's like really getting it in your Pokeball when you go out with your camera and you capture a good shot of it, but I haven't yet gotten to that level. Happy birthday, Sly, for streaming. Happy birthday. How do you get started with bird watching? I have binoculars, a love of birds, but don't know where to begin. KT Gremlin Teeth, incredible. Here's what I recommend. You want to get an app called Merlin Bird ID. Here's what I did. Get Merlin Bird ID. This will help you identify the birds in your area, okay? And then you want to get another app called eBird. And what you can do is on eBird, you start making your checklist. So here are all my checklists of where I've been birding. And so on eBird, you can record what birds you see. So I saw on this day, an American widgeon and a mallard and 200 pigeons, etc. And so then you just like start walking around, and when you see a bird, you try to identify it using the app. And when you have identified it, you put it in your checklist, and you just do that over and over again. And that's pretty much it. and it works great. That's bird watching. You're bird watching, baby. I could also recommend this this course from the Cornell Laboratory. The Joy of Bird Watching is really good, and it's a great way to get started. Okay. Non-breeding season. For seasonal breeders, the rest of the year is spent eating and surviving. Many birds change their behavior in the non-breeding season. Some go from being mostly solitary and territorial to being social and gregarious. Many birds gather in large flocks in the non-breeding season. Some cluster in flocks of just their own species, while others wander around in mixed species flocks. Often, different species in a mixed flock find their foods in different ways, such as fly catching or gleaning, which allows the birds to benefit from the watchfulness of other individuals without competing with them directly for food. Mixed species flocks. Snow geese, Ross's geese, and sandhill cranes. Oh, look at those cranes. Migration. Many birds spend their breeding and non-breeding seasons in different places. The movement between these areas is called migration. Migration is such an interesting and complicated thing that it deserves its own topic. What isn't? Many of the keys to bird identification change over the season. Size and shape generally stay the same throughout the year. They're always good to use for bird identification. But color and pattern. Color pattern and markings can vary dramatically with some species, usually going from bright and obvious in the breeding season to dull and camouflage in the non-breeding season. Brilliant patterns displayed while trying to attract mates can disappear and be replaced by patches of dull nothingness. Wow. A bobolink breeding male left and a non-breeding plumage right. Now, I've seen that in my books. Got this great book here, Birds of Southern California. And it has, here's a least sandpiper. I just saw one of these. And it has the breeding and non-breeding plumage there. Sorry, pressing the wrong side. See that? That's a great example of that. But now, how do you figure out when is breeding season and when is not breeding season? That's what I don't know. Behavior. Although some species use the same foraging techniques, and birds with bobs and twitches often show this year-round, other species change their behavior dramatically. American robins go from being solitary, territorial invertebrate eaters to social fruit eaters, gathering and traveling in large flocks. Look how fat they are. Look our little fatties. Egrets have seasonal plumage. Oh, cool. The nail polish is 100% enhancing the screen. Good, I'm glad. Habitat and range. Habitat and range can change. Ranges obviously change for migratory birds. Many keep their same general habitat preferences, such as marsh birds staying near water, but some birds make dramatic shifts, such as gold-winged warblers going from preferring scrubby second-growth forests to breeding and wintering in the canopy of tropical forests. Golden-winged warbler. Sounds often change. Wow. Black-capped chickadee give their chickadee-dee-dee. Can you hear that? I'll turn it up. But this is only heard during the breeding season. I've heard this. Da-da. Cool. Migration, the long and the short of it. Why do birds migrate? They migrate to move from areas of low or decreasing resources to higher increasing resources. Birds that nest in the northern hemisphere tend to migrate northward in March, April, and May, take advantage of budding plants and the resulting increase in insect populations. Oh, they're trying to eat bugs. As the winter approaches and the availability of insects and other food drops, the birds move south again. Escaping the cold might have an influence, but many species, including hummingbirds, can withstand freezing temperatures as long as they get enough food. Birds that nest in the southern hemisphere, migration proceeds in the same direction, but those birds are moving northward to overwinter and southward to breed. Yeah, because the seasons are reversed, right? Very confusing. Oh, you can mimic the breeding call, and it confuses the poor deers. Incredible. Can you do it for us now? I wish you could. By the way, guys, if you are able to support this stream, does help me out a lot. It helps me continue doing this, and I would appreciate it if you do. You don't have to feel required to. You can be a Conover watcher, as we call ourselves, all by yourself. Just go join the Discord down below and hang out. But hey, if you can support, or if you can gift a subscription to others, It's much appreciated. You get a special sub level of the Discord where I chat with y'all. You get special custom emotes. Incredible stuff. You lived on a bird sanctuary for a time, birdhism. Well, you're an all bird person. Some birds are able to find food in one place year-round. They don't migrate. Usually the key for a bird to be a resident is that it finds foods in a different way than the migrants. Oh, interesting. A yellow-bellied flycatcher breeding in the boreal forest of Canada catches insects in midair, plucks them from vegetation. Obviously, it will need to migrate because there would be no active insects in the cold weather. A black-headed chickadee can survive by eating seeds and finding various life stages of insects, including their pupae and eggs, overwintering in crevices and tree bark. It's hard to believe there are that many insects hidden in the forest, but apparently there are. Apparently, I mean, this guy's a little bit like, hey, I only know about birds. I don't know about insects. Apparently that's how many insects there are. Do I consider ostriches part of my hobby of bird watching? I mean, they're going to be on eBird, right? Let's see. Oh, by the way, here's the really fun thing about eBird. I now get to see that I have seen 57 species. That's my life list. And here's where I've seen them. I've been birding since July. First bird I identified was a towhee. Here are all of my... Here are like when I saw all of them. Like I can see, I remember the first time I saw a green heron. I was so excited the first time I saw a green heron. Okay, so let's look up ostrich. Here's the ostrich. It's been observed 15,000 times. Ostriches are pretty fucking amazing. Like, they are really ridiculous. Massive, conspicuous, flightless bird with long neck and robust legs. Mature males have black and white plumage with pinkish skin, flushed in breeding plumage. Females and immatures are duller. They can walk several kilometers per day. Deep, booming calls can be heard from long distance. Oh, you kidding me? That's cute. Clancy knocked. I got bit by an emu. That resonating cavity. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Non-breeding male. Female immature. So the males are super pink. They just look more like a penis. Look at that. Man, look how big they are. Look at those deer in the background. Look how big the ostriches are by comparison. My God. Let's hear the... Oh, there's no audio. There's got to be some, right? Top audio. No, they have no ostrich audio. Wow, they're so weird.
This one's doing it now.
Wow. Look at the way that neck just snakes around. Doesn't it seem like they should keep their brains in their butts or something? They look like a bloodborne monster. Yeah, dinosaurs. What's the difference? This is the difference. An emu looks like this. Endemic to Australia, this enormous flightless bird has drooping gray shaggy plumage. Only confusion possible with introduced ostrich. Emu is a bit less cute. Oh, there's some emu audio. They'll come out here in the media, so. Where's the emu? Those are just normal bird tweets. That's not a sound of an emu. Series of deep guttural grunts. Okay, I don't know. Well, okay, back to migration. Types of migration. Short distance. Some birds move seasonally, but they don't go that far. Birds like the white-tailed ptarmigan only move up and down. Ptarmigan only move up and down elevation on mountains. Other species go farther, but on the order of hundreds of miles. We call these short-distance migrants, okay? The American robin is a short-distance migrant, breeding across Canada and the northern United States and wintering throughout much of the United States. An individual robin travels about 300 to 750 miles. That's a short distance? 300 miles? Jesus. Let's watch an animation of robin abundance. Okay, yeah, they kind of move up and then down. What's funny is I don't think... Now, there are robins around here. But I have not seen any yet, and that's because, look, there aren't many around here. But they're going to come back down. Now we're in November. I've only been bird watching from June through November. Now we're going to start to see more robins. So maybe I'll get to put a robin on my life list. Obviously, I've seen one as a kid, but not since I started bird watching. I think I've seen a robin before. Been seeing so many late season robins in your state. Exactly when they migrate varies from year to year. Variation in timing and distance has been linked to the extent of snow cover in a winter and likely is influenced by the variability of available food sources such as berry crops. Sitting back down in my with my sitting desk. All right. Some birds make amazingly long journeys every year. The tiny black-paw warbler breeds in the boreal forest along Canada in winter, and winters in South America. That is incredibly far. Wow! Check this migration out. From down there. Wow. Cool. So if you just go, it looks like they're in Michigan for like a month, like a couple weeks. That is so cool. So you catch them right at the right time. How's it going, dildos? I'm not calling you dildos. Dildos. Do I think the ivory-billed woodpecker could still be extant? I don't think so. The ivory-billed woodpecker, I feel like if it were, we would have seen it by now, you know? Okay, now that I've changed my relation to the screen, I've gotten small again. So let's go like this. All right. Did you notice that all the black-paw warblers seem to gather along the east coast north of Virginia in September and then reappear in the Caribbean and then South America as if they flew there over the open ocean? Well, they did. Let's see. They gather here. Oh, yeah, look at that. They fly straight from eastern North America to South America over the ocean. A red-eyed vireo enjoys eating berries in early fall, but they're headed to South America no matter what the berry crop is in the north. Long-distance migrants often appear and disappear by rather strict schedules. They're less likely to be influenced by local conditions. In contrast, a very good berry crop could postpone the departure of cedar waxwings. In very good fruiting years, the waxwings might just stay put all winter long. Oh. Birds often take different routes for spring and fall migrations. The reason can be difference in prevailing winds or differences in food sources along the way. Read about how scientists discovered that spring migrants in North America follow a green wave pattern of new plant growth northward to their breeding grounds in this All About Birds article. Ah, many more birds than anyone ever suspected fly these looped migrations where their spring and fall routes are not the same. What triggers migration and how do birds prepare? Migration can be triggered by a combination of changes in day length, temperatures, weather, or prevailing winds and food supplies. Timing can also be influenced by genes of different birds. Different bird species and even different populations within the same species may follow different migratory patterns. Well, see, I feel like when I read this aloud, I don't actually internalize it. Sorry, Dills does. Change in day length seems to be the most important cue that leads to changes in a bird's body related to migration, especially in long distance migrants. They have to store a lot of fat in their bodies. A bird preparing for a long flight might double its body weight in fat. I can relate. Most migrate at night. Go out on a still night in spring or fall and listen. You might hear intermittent soft chips, peeps, and zeeps coming from high overhead. Those are the calls of birds migrating in the dark. Hundreds of thousands of birds passing over your head, unseen in the darkness. Wow. If you learn to recognize the calls of different species like gray-cheeked thrushes, you may hear more in one night than you would ever see in a lifetime. Wow, that's cool. That's amazing. How do birds navigate? Some of them find their winter home despite never seeing it before and return the following spring to where they were born. Yeah, how do they do that? Secrets to their amazing navigation skills aren't yet fully understood. Birds can get compass type information such as which way is north from the sun during the day. At night, they can use the rotation of the stars. They can sense the Earth's magnetic field and use that cue to orient. I think that's probably a very good one. We know that birds combine several different types of information to navigate. I mean, that's really what it is. When the brains of the birds are combining many different stimuli without them realizing it, it can make it seem spooky. Much of it is genetic, instinctual, and hardwired, but learning can be important too. Some species follow preferred pathways on their annual migrations. Important stopover locations. Cranes and geese migrate in family groups, and inexperienced youngsters learn the migration route from their parents and flock mates. This is all so wholesome. Except now we've gotten to migration hazards. Oh, hazards of the journey, bad weather, lack of adequate food supplies. For ages, migrating birds have oriented by a simple truth. At night, the sky is lighter than the ground, so fly to the light. That cue worked well until people invented artificial lights. Now bright lights attract and disorient migrating birds. Some cities, because they are large and lie across the bird's migration route, are particularly dangerous for birds. What are the top studies? 600 million birds die from building collisions every year. Oh boy, Los Angeles is number 4. Heavy spring migration along the west coast also puts Los Angeles on the spring most dangerous list. Well, we're hopeful that major reductions in light pollution at the city level are on the horizon. Good luck. I don't see that happening. How's that going to happen? We have more lights than ever. LEDs have caused lighting to be cheaper, which is good, and less energy, use less energy. But that means that it's more people use more lights than they used to. Hey, Avatar of Slob, thank you so much for the subscription. Incredible. We love you, Avatar of Slob. Migrant traps and stopover spots. Stopover sites play a crucial role in a bird's survival by serving as pit stops where it can rest and refuel for a few hours or days before moving onwards. In fact, stopover sites are so critical for migration that most birds actually spend more time on the ground than in the air during migration. Several factors contribute to where they decide to stop along their migration route. Stopover sites also provide unique birdwatching opportunities for a few days or weeks every year. Champions of migration. Okay, here we go. The Arctic tern completes the longest known annual return migration on Earth, traveling between different breeding sites in the northern Arctic and survival molt areas. Wow. Wait, the Arctic tern literally goes from the North Pole to the South Pole? These are by far the longest migrations known in the animal kingdom. Wow. Least concerns, there's a lot of them. That's good. Wow. So, yeah, look, it breeds up there and then winters down there in fucking Antarctica. Incredible. Longest migration by a songbird. Northern wheatears breeding in Alaska head westward across Asia to eastern Africa to spend the winter, a route covering 8,700 miles. Breeding in Alaska head westward across Asia to eastern Africa. Wow. Like, that's amazing that a species would evolve to have a migratory pattern like that, like way before, far before humans were able to travel. Like, obviously. Like, when humans were just stuck in one place. We're just sticking around in Africa. We're just hanging out in Africa. And these birds are coming. Hey, we love this bird. We love this brown and white bird. These are great. Oh, but they're gone half the year. Where did they go? The birds are going to Canada and then coming back. before we as a species have even gone to Canada. Unbelievable. Incredible. That's incredible. And they're still doing it today. That's like built into their evolution, is their location on the earth. That's really interesting. That's something that like we don't often think about. Like, yeah, because they would have been able to do it. Like those climates would have remained stable for tens of thousands of years. So the birds would their genetics are evolved to the continents. Like their genetics are literally go north, go west. Amazing. Did dinosaurs migrate? Good question. Bar-tailed godwits fly to New Zealand in one nonstop flight. What? 9 days of continuous flying. They breed in western Alaska and they fly to New Zealand in 1 day of continuous flight. Bar-tailed godwit. You godwit. The bar-headed goose crosses the Himalayas, flying as high as 30,000 feet. Migration is the best time to be a bird watcher. Twice a year, hordes of birds travel thousands of miles to grace your home turf for a few days or weeks, but they don't come in a steady stream, more like a cascade of arrivals coming in flurries and pauses. That's why, even during peak migration, some days are dead while others are packed with new arrivals. Ooh, if you live in the United States, Cornell Lab of Ornithology's Birdcast project help you know when these bird flurries are about to arrive so you can plan when to get up early. They've combined decades of migration observation coupled with real-time weather data and created two simple tools, a 3-day migration forecast and up-to-the-minute replay of bird activity. This article from let's see here. Birdcast project. Wow. God, the Cornell Lab of Ornithology does such incredible shit. I didn't even know this. I didn't even know this existed. So it's inactive right now because it's not. Wow. 23 years of bird movements in the atmosphere as detected by the U.S. NEXRAD weather surveillance radar system. Cool. Different seasons, different birds. Okay. Northern cardinal, Blackburnian warbler. All the activities in the course are optional chances for you to practice and reflect. We hope you find them useful and fun, and we will participate in the discussion below to share what you've learned. Okay, so we could compare scarlet tanager and western tanager. That's so cool. It's one of the things that makes bird watching a cool hobby is that, like, I went and I was like, I think I've learned all the birds in my area, and now new ones are always coming through. Now, how come I haven't seen a western tanager yet? Wait, have I? Yeah, I haven't seen a western tanager yet. And they seem to come through where I am. Yeah, they should have been around here in August and September. Maybe I just wasn't looking in the right place. Here's the discussion right here. What sweethearts? Like people actually writing these long discussions here. Wow, this person has done so many of the different courses. Oh, oops.
In most places, the birds you see depend almost as much on when you're birding as where you're birding. I look forward to the spring migration of...
Already did this one. Okay, joy of bird watching. So we have now done... Wait, what happened? There we go. Okay, behaviors to look in lesson 4. Let's see. Should we do another lesson of these, or should we save that for our next learning stream, and instead we can close out this stream with a little Magic the Gathering or perhaps Doom Eternal, which are the 2 games I'm playing right now? What do you think? What do you think, Keyford? What do you think, Slifer streaming? Please don't go. I just got here. I'm sorry, Keyford. I'm not going to go yet. Not quite yet. I do have a little work to do. I got to work on a script. But put on bird lectures while silent running Doom. I'm good with both bird and nerd content. Hey, how's it going, world's best grandma? Good to see you. Adam Ruins Everything is not gone for good. You know, it's still alive in our hearts. There's 65 episodes of the show you can watch. I can't, Keyford, I cannot adjust my stream schedule to match everybody's schedule. Everyone has different schedules. It's got to be from my schedule. New Navy CB says Doom. Oh, yeah, poll is a thing. How do I do a poll? Do I type like /poll? Oh, poll. Start poll. We got 1 vote for more birds. Oh boy, birds is winning in a landslide. Birds is winning in an absolute landslide. Okay, we'll do a little more birds. Oh, wait. Doom's coming back. Doom's coming back. Oh, more for birds. This is pretty fun. Oh, hold up. Hold up. Whoa. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. 13-9. People are still putting their votes in. Hoo boy. Spicy poll. 14-9. Oh, birds is pulling ahead once again. Everyone says birds, birds, birds. Adam ruins early poll predictions. Yeah, get Nate Silver on this. God, this is better than the election. More birds wins. All right, we'll do some more birds. Behaviors to look and listen for.
The first step in learning to understand bird behavior is to get a sense of the range of things that birds do, the sorts of things that preoccupy the lives of birds. Sometimes birds act alone. Foraging and preening can be solitary experiences. But at other times, birds do things in pairs or small groups or even huge flocks. Two or more birds interacting is considered social behavior. Social behavior can be friendly, with some birds preening each other or working together to mate and breed. Sometimes social behavior seems to be mostly doing their own thing in a crowd of birds, sticking together with a group, but not interacting that much. And social behavior can be unfriendly too. Males in competition for mates interact with other males in hostile or even violent ways. Birds need to find food, obviously. They go about it in a wide variety of ways. They eat insects, fish.
I like where this guy chose to shoot this, like in front of a swamp with some scary trees in the background.
Ways. They eat insects, fish, fruits, seed, nectar, and other things sometimes we can't even see. Expect birds to be constantly on the alert for small bits of food. Birds also have to take care of their plumage and their bodies. Flying requires smooth surfaces and intact flight feathers. Expect to see birds bathing and cleaning up, spending a lot of time grooming their feathers. And sometimes they get an itch, they have to scratch. It's all part of being alive. Birds make babies, of course. Breeding behavior usually occurs at specific times of the year, so don't expect to see courting, mating, and feeding young all year long. But the birds are pretty serious about it when the time is right. They can spend a lot of time and energy showing off to attract a mate and defending their territories. Life is all about reproducing and surviving. Especially for small birds, avoiding predators is an important concern each and every day. Sometimes that means being watchful, sitting quietly in a spot where they can look around. Sometimes it means hiding or freezing in place until a predator leaves. Sometimes it means hanging out with dozens and hundreds of other birds to hide behind. And sometimes it means taking a risk and harassing a predator to drive it away. The birds talk. They talk to the world at large, singing about mates and territory. They talk about predators. Sometimes they warn each other about predators. Sometimes they tell the predators what they think. They talk to each other about where they are, what their mood is, and whether it's time to go. And sometimes just what they're talking about isn't all that obvious. But birds do communicate in a variety of ways, and we can eavesdrop on them once we learn what to look and listen for. Use this lesson to investigate the variety of ways birds behave and why.
Learn how to use key behaviors to identify birds. Okay. First up, social behavior.
When two or more birds interact, we call that social behavior.
Sounds right.
Birds interact with each other for many reasons, including reproduction, foraging, fighting, sleeping, and protection. When multiple individual birds hang together in a group, we call that a flock. Sometimes a flock is just a single species, such as these blue-throated macaws from Bolivia. Flocks can also have multiple species, such as this group of brown pelicans, laughing gulls, and black skimmers. Some species form massive flocks of tens of thousands of birds, such as this flock of red-winged blackbirds and brewer's blackbirds. It's amazing how they move together, changing directions without running into each other.
It is amazing. How the hell do they do that?
Roosts are congregations of birds that come together to spend the night. They can be large or small and can include members of multiple species. Cattle egrets congregate in secluded and protected areas, such as islands, while American crows often form roosts in urban areas. In the winter, their roosts can number in the tens or even hundreds of thousands.
Crows are so scary when there's that many
Just
of them.
like birds come together to
mostly have
sleep,
ravens
they also come
where I
together
am.
to nest in a nesting colony, with nests clustered in one area. Sometimes nests are little more than pecking distance apart. Seabirds are well known for nesting in large colonies, especially on remote islands like St. George Island in the Alaskan Pribilof chain. Numerous seabirds nest there in large numbers, including thousands of thick-billed murres that nest on ledges along the cliffs. Cliff swallows like cliffs too, but their colonies have their mud
Whoa.
nests hanging below ledges and outcrops, not sitting.
Look how cool that is. They make mud nests. Like they almost look like wasps' nests.
On top of them. American flamingos build mud nests in colonies as well, but theirs are mounds in shallow, salty lagoons. When birds defend specific areas from other members of the same species, we call that behavior territoriality. Birds often set up territories to attract and defend mates. Red-winged blackbird males establish territories at the beginning of the breeding season. To defend their turf, the blackbirds display their red wing patches at each other more than anything else, but they will engage in actual fights on occasion. Herring gulls hold very small territories around the nest site, and boundary squabbles between adults can be pretty violent. Combat between breeding male sharp-tailed grouse can also be quite intense. These two guys are fighting over space on a communal display ground called a lek, where competition for females can be serious.
A communal display ground.
Courtship behavior can be intricate and fascinating to watch. In some species, males will feed females as part of courtship, a behavior called courtship feeding. Other species engage in more elaborate behaviors. Male greater sage grouse of the American West dance in a communal display ground known as a lek, while the smaller females cruise the scene to find the one they want to copulate with.
What?
Male greater. Other species engage in more elaborate behaviors.
Wait, hold on. I gotta go back here.
Feed
I get
females
distracted.
In some species, males will feed females as part of courtship, a behavior called courtship feeding.
Cute. That's what I do. I feed Lisa in order to court her.
Other species engage in more elaborate behaviors. Male greater sage grouse of the American West dance in a communal display ground known as a lek, while the smaller females cruise the scene to find the one they want to copulate with.
Very scrotal.
Male grouse fans his tail, holds it straight up behind its body, inflates two pouches with air, and pops them in and out of his feathers while rubbing his wings across the sides of his chest. A female walking past this particular displaying male gives no indication that she is impressed and keeps on going. In lacking birds like these, males don't provide any parental.
It's just me in my 20s. Yeah, I've been there too.
Care.
Just like, oh, just deflated. Oh, there she goes. Oh, what do you got? What's a guy got to do around here?
Critically endangered hooded grebe in Argentina engage in complicated swimming dance routines. With quick paddling strokes of their feet, they raise their bodies completely out of the water, turning their heads back and forth in parallel over and over.
Oh
These
my
types of
gosh.
matching display moves are typical of birds, where the sexes look alike and both parents care for the chicks.
Beautiful. Okay, these are flocks, roosts, colony nests. Cliff swallows. Where do cliff swallows live? American cliff swallow. Oh, all over the place. Look at that. Construct them out of sticky clay. Now, here's what I could do. Say I wanted to see a cliff swallow. I can go here on eBird. Check this out. And then could I... Yeah, they've been seen all over. Los Angeles, yeah. Can I go Los Angeles like this? Los Angeles, California. Oh, okay, so that's how often they're here in June, July. Aha, zoom in to see hot spots. Yes. So these are seen all over the place. These are all the places that people have seen cliff swallows. Okay, so really I should be able to see cliff swallows very easily. Isn't that neat? Cliff swallows make nests on the side of buildings in your neighborhood. That sounds awesome. Okay, here's courtship, territory defense, and fighting. Call that behavior territoriality. Territories can be large areas that maintain throughout the year. Okay, up next, foraging for food.
When we use the term foraging, we mean a bird actively hunting for food and eating it. Birds eat a large variety of foods, and they have many different ways of getting them. Some of the most familiar bird feeding behaviors involve seeds. Many seed eaters, like this female northern cardinal, use their thick, strong beaks to quickly open seeds. A blue jay with a thinner beak hammers on a tough seed by holding it down with its feet. Other birds eat different parts of plants, such as fruit or nectar. Here, crested berry peckers in the mountains of New Guinea eat small fruits, which are relatively easy to grab and swallow. Some fruits aren't so easy to eat, but the massive beak of the blue-throated macaw from South America allows the bird to just bite through the husk of tough fruits. The hummingbirds of the Americas are maybe the best-known nectar feeders, like this long-tailed Cuban emerald, which hovers while probing long tubular flowers.
Cute.
But other species also eat nectar. The aniani owl, one of the Hawaiian honey creepers, shows another way it's done, perching on branches to reach the flowers of the ohia tree. Insects are perhaps the most important food item for the majority of birds on Earth, possibly because insects can be found in abundance almost everywhere. Birds have developed a variety of ways of finding insects and eating them. A female house sparrow has a simple technique of pecking tiny insects off the surface of a branch, a process known as gleaning.
Tiny insects.
A Hawaiian honey creeper, uses its small pointed bill to probe into moss to find insects. The brown creeper specializes in finding insects in the bark of trees, working its way methodically up a tree trunk while pecking and probing into crevices. Woodpeckers use a much different strategy to get insects. If they can't see the insects, they drill into the wood to find them. The pileated woodpecker hammers deep into a tree to get carpenter ants that have bored tunnels in the wood.
It must be so terrifying if you're an ant. This giant thing goes dong, dong, dong. Fucking eats you. So most of the time when you see a bird going like pick, 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 you like think it's like it's not eating anything. It's just looking and finding nothing. But no, there's little tiny bugs in there.
Many birds around the world catch insects on the wing, like the scissor-tailed flycatcher. Many invertebrates live...
I want to see this again. So I've noticed this behavior a lot.
Many birds around the world catch insects on the wing, like the scissor-tailed flycatcher.
Yeah, flies up, catches, goes back
Many
down.
invertebrates live below the surface of the ground, but that doesn't stop birds from eating them. This American robin is enjoying a worm brought to the surface by rain. Shorebirds, like spoon-billed sandpipers, dunlin, and Kentish plovers, probe and pick in the mudflats along the Yellow Sea in China. This sandhill crane uses its bill to pull grubs out of a lawn. And the American woodcock probes deeply in moist leaf litter and is rewarded with earthworms.
Look at its happy little
And it's rewarded with
vibration. It's like,
earthworms.
oh yeah, got a worm. Uh-huh.
The amazingly long bill of the bar-tailed godwit proves useful
Whoa.
to go after invertebrates deep in the mud.
Wow. Muddy boy.
Lots of birds eat fish, but different birds catch fish in different ways. Great blue herons slowly stalk their prey through shallow water and catch them with a quick stabbing motion.
Yeah, I've seen these. These are in L.A.
Galapagos penguins use their paddle-shaped wings to swim after their fast-moving prey.
Fun.
Other birds dive down from the air and use their feet to grab a fish, like this bald eagle. Northern gannets also fish from the air, but they use their bills, and they plunge from impressive heights to depths of up to 15 meters or 50 feet.
Wow.
Skimmers fly over the surface, dragging their knife-narrow lower bill through the water until they hit a fish, a fishing strategy unique in the bird world.
Wow. Cool.
Finally, there are the predatory birds that feed on mammals, birds, and other land animals. They use a variety of ways to catch and process their prey. The merlin, like many other falcons, catches its food by a fast pursuit.
Wow.
The American
Wow.
kestrel, a slightly smaller falcon, more often drops down on its prey from above, either from a perch or by hovering high in the air before dropping to the ground.
Wow, look at that hover.
Once prey has been captured, it needs to be processed, like this Cooper's hawk, plucking the thick coat of feathers off a rock pigeon to get to the meat. Once
Whoa,
the feathers
cool.
are out of the way, it digs in.
It's really hard to tell apart hawks. I keep seeing
Even though
hawks,
they're
but not knowing which one it
songbirds,
is.
shrikes actually eat meat, just like hawks, falcons, and owls. Unlike raptors, though, shrikes use
Wait, let me
thorns,
see that again.
just like hawks. Even though they're songbirds, shrikes actually eat meat, just like hawks, falcons, and owls.
Wow.
Unlike raptors, though, shrikes use thorns and similar things to hold their prey while they eat. This is a pretty handy innovation for eating when you don't have strong feet or sharp talons for holding your prey.
One moment, everybody. Okay. Most important food item are insects. Self-care. Oh, birds need self-care. Maintenance behaviors or comfort movements.
When we talk about maintenance behavior, we're referring to things that a bird needs to do to care for and clean its own body. These behaviors include simple things like bathing, maintaining feathers, stretching, and scratching. Keeping clean is vital for birds. They must maintain a clean and smooth exterior to stay aerodynamic for flight. Bathing is the first step in removing dirt and grime that can cause some problems. This royal turn shows the basic bathing moves of standing in shallow water, dunking its head, and splashing water over its back and body. This green jay uses the same basic bathing moves of dunk, dip, and flap while bathing in a stream. When water is hard to find, birds often use dry dirt instead, a behavior referred to as dust bathing. It may not seem like it, but these house sparrows are actually getting clean. When a bird uses its bill to maintain its feathers, that's called preening. Preening is a necessary step to keep feathers in good working condition. No matter where the feathers are on the body, or the shape of the bill, birds preen to keep their feathers neat and clean, including zipping them back together when they get misaligned, and removing dust and debris. Because birds can't preen the feathers on their own heads with their beaks, they have to use their feet to scratch and maintain feather condition. Some birds produce oils in a gland at the base of their tails that can be spread across their plumage. Watch how this female mallard squeezes her gland and then rubs her head in the oil. She then rubs her head around her body to apply the oil to her feathers. Birds fluff up and shake their feathers to rearrange them and get any that might have been in disarray back into place. A roadside hawk from South America quickly fluffs its feathers before it takes flight. And this killdeer shows just how large a bird can become when it raises all its feathers at once.
Whoa!
And everybody needs a good stretch now and then. This yellow-billed loon stretches out its right leg, showing off its webbed foot. The ring-billed gull stretches its wings up over its back. Birds often stretch both a wing and the leg on the same side of the body at the same time.
Wow.
This Louisiana water thrush performs a whole stretch routine, starting with his right wing and leg out to the side, then both wings up over its back, and finally the left wing and leg out to the side. Bills need to be kept clean too. Birds often clean debris or food off their beaks by swiping them against a branch or some other object. This move is referred to as bill wiping. Bill size and shape doesn't matter. Everybody does it.
We've got preening and oiling, fluffing and stretching, head scratching. Whoa, that killdeer is looking kind of weird. Beak cleaning. Parental behavior.
After birds have mated, we can classify everything they do in support of reproduction as parental behavior. Examples include nest building, incubation, brooding, and feeding and defending young. A bird's nest functions primarily as a basket to hold eggs. Some could be a simple scrape in the ground, while others are intricately constructed or even sewn together. Nest construction often begins with gathering materials, like this rufous-capped warbler gathering dry vegetation for its nest. Cliff swallows gather mud, which they use to build their dome nests mouthful by mouthful. Other species use their bodies to form their nests, like this American robin, which is shaping the nest lining by flattening herself along the bottom. Some birds build nests that are suspended, like this marsh wren, which is anchoring its nest to standing reeds. It wraps strips of vegetation around multiple stalks, almost tying them together. Birds use body heat to incubate their eggs and will also warm up their chicks the same way, a behavior called brooding. Many birds, like this common redpoll, incubate their eggs in a well-insulated nest.
Oh, that looks so comfy.
Others, like thick-billed murres, don't use a nest, but they still incubate their egg, which they keep in place with their feet.
Love that.
Bar-tailed godwit parents take turns incubating their eggs. Watch as the larger-billed, duller female godwit touches the back of the nearly hidden incubating male to get him to leave and let her incubate.
Wow, look how well camouflaged they are.
When hatched, Kirtland's warbler chicks are nearly naked and need their mother to brood them to keep them warm.
Yeah, don't look, it's naked.
Brooding chicks doesn't require a nest. Young are sometimes kept warm directly under a parent's wings. Few birds are able to feed themselves as soon as they hatch, and parents spend a lot of energy gathering food to feed their chicks. Many work as a team. This female ferruginous hawk stays at the nest and guards her nestling while her mate is off hunting. After he returns with a ground squirrel, he leaves, and the female pulls off pieces of meat and feeds them to their chick. Rock wrens bring mouthfuls of insects to their begging nestlings. Many seabirds eat regurgitated fish, But one wonders how a red-faced cormorant feeding its young doesn't get hurt as the nestling reaches down its throat to get some food.
What?
And parental feeding doesn't end when the young have left the nest. Snow buntings provide food for their offspring for over a week after they've fledged. Birds
Snow
sometimes
bunting.
will go to great lengths to defend their eggs or offspring, like this American flamingo protecting its small chick from hungry black vultures and turkey vultures. When this herring gull chick wanders a bit too far, it's attacked by a neighboring adult. Its parent rushes to its defense.
Grabs it by its beak. Fuck
Birds
you!
will also distract predators. Some birds, like Pacific golden plovers, pretend to be injured to draw predators away from their nests. This behavior is known as a distraction display.
Evolution's incredible, right? Woodpeckers dig nest cavity themselves. Once the woodpeckers are done with one, it often gets used by lots of different birds and other woodland creatures. Okay, folks, I got tired. I think we're going to take a break from learning about birds. We've been streaming for over an hour here. I got to go work on a script. I hope everybody's still doing reasonably well. Next time we do this stream, I should have a better camera finally. I'm happy to indulge you bird nerds. Thank you so much for watching. If you are able to subscribe, it really does help out the stream. I thank you so much for doing it if you're able to. I just want to remind you, on Thursday, we're going to do our weekly stand-up comedy show, and you can join us. It's going to be at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, whatever other time zone you're in, 5 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to be doing a live stand-up comedy show. We'll have 2 to 3 great comics for you. I'll be doing stand-up, and we pay the comics, so your subscription also helps to go pay those comics as well. So really appreciate that. And, of course, go down below, join the Discord. Go follow me on TikTok. I'm big on TikTok now. How about that? Stand-up is a weekly show. Sure is. That's okay, Dells does. Socials. Do we have a socials on there, Kira? Erebus, you've got a very narrow view of what TikTok is for. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. I am big on TikTok, Dills does. What are you talking about? I got 1 million likes. Hey, Birdism, thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you for joining us in the bird love today. Amazing. Thank you so much. Give it up for Birdism to subscribe. Yes, we got Birdhism. Yes. You guys want to look at my nails one more time? Oh, my God. Gorgeous with the sweatshirt color. That feels like a win. Yeah. The handwork. Ooh. All right. See you later, everybody. Hope you had a good one. Thanks so much for watching. And you can absolutely tag me. Have a good one. Adios, amigo.